How's it going, guys? It's a final render here. Now, I'm sure some of you are saying, final render? You've got some explaining to do, my man. Where's Fallout 4 building with mods been? Well, I'm going to be completely honest as to why I stopped doing Fallout 4 building with mods for a while. I was just a bit bored of it, frankly. You know, I had done an episode of Fallout 4 building with mods maybe once every 2 weeks, maybe sometimes a bit more, for an entire year. And it's very hard to stay creative and stay enthusiastic about a creative process when you're doing it for so long. And since there weren't actually that many new mods coming out for building, that we pretty much have the same mods for the past 6 months or so maybe, and that's not an exaggeration, it got very hard to actually keep it fun and keep it creative for me. So I decided to basically take a break from it, you know, because then I can come back with a fresh head, so to speak, and I can start to enjoy building in Fallout 4 again. And I'm sure you guys have missed it. I apologize if you really have. This series has been good to me, and this series really has built the channel and introduced so many of you guys to me. So, sorry if it offended you or anything like that, but I was under the impression that it would be a very good idea to just take a long break until I am ready to come back to this series. But now I am, so please enjoy. So for this episode of Fallout 4 Building with Mods, we have come to Covenant. Covenant is a very unique settlement inside Fallout 4 with a very dark history indeed that you'll have to unravel yourself when you come here for the first time. Something which makes Covenant very, very unique is that there is something bizarre going on here, being that all of the buildings are in fantastic condition. Nothing's destroyed, there's no holes in the roof, everything is in perfect working order, and it seems like this is a perfect little sanctuary to come inside Fallout 4. However, as I said, there is something a bit fishy going on with this place, but I'll let you guys discover that for yourself. But for this episode of Fallout 4 Building with Mods, we are going to be making the place taller, and we are going to be expanded upon its theme of perfectly restored and niceness by having a lovely garden. Let's go. To start off with, I wanted to make the place much taller because you can't actually build outside the confines of the walls. So therefore I did jump into the creation kit to actually make the place buildable at a higher scale, which you'll be able to download. And therefore I am able to extend the walls several stories up so that we are able to have a story on top of all of the buildings. Not only does it kind of match the aesthetic of a kind of fortress place, but it also works to actually make this idea happen. So starting with the Cabin in the Woods mod, I'm going to go ahead and make a wooden deck on the top of all of the buildings and then connect them with an elevator that came as part of the Contraptions DLC. And the reason why I wanted to use the Cabin in the Woods mod, because say what you want about all the textures and stuff in Fallout 4, this Cabin in the Woods mod has the best wood texture I have seen so far. Not only is it really nice to look at and very nice and clean, but also it actually matches well with the idea that this has been built by hand because it's all made out of logs. And here we are with the place with its second story. It's starting to look pretty big, as you can see. We've got an awful lot of space to work with. Not only that, but I've deliberately left some holes in the floor of the decking, so it means that some of the trees can poke out through the center of the decking, and also when it rains, the water will flood down onto the bottom floor rather than flooding this entire top section, which would be a bit of a disaster, to say the least. And now using some of the railings from Cabin in the Woods, we were able to get some very nice wooden railings around the entire place, and also some roofing just along the edges. Again, this is so that if it rains, the water will not flood the entire top half of the settlement, which would be very bad indeed. And using alternate settlements, I'm going to build several small buildings to populate this wooden deck area. The entire building structure is all going to be made out of wood. The idea is being that not only does it really fit with the aesthetic, it keeps it looking very pretty, but also there is the idea of weight. Since this entire top deck is made out of wood, if every single building was made out of concrete and metal, that weight would cause a problem. And here we go with our first little building here, which is going to be a little player home. It looks really nice. It's a bit cramped to say the least, but it absolutely looks gorgeous. And we are going to make it even better. And now here I'm going to be building a little greenhouse gardening area up here. This is where they will start to actually grow the flowers, which maybe they can trade with the rest of the Commonwealth, who knows. And then they will be grown in here, and then they will be shipped out to the rest of the settlements when they are ready. Again, wooden textures, but a slightly different hue. It's a bit darker. The idea being that this place is probably going to be very humid, so therefore the wood is actually slightly darker than the other building that we have already built. And it actually starts to look really nice with a nice little walkway inside, and we've actually got lots and lots of space in here to put all of the flowers and all the vegetables that we may grow so that we can sell them to the rest of the Commonwealth. And here we are using Homemaker to build a little diner. Now, whilst I did say I don't really want too many concrete things and metal things for the idea of weight, I think it's okay to have one or two, you know what I'm saying? And not only that, but since the entire diner structure is modular, they can actually bring it up here quite easily. And using the NorthlandDiggers crafting resources and jobs, we are able to get lots of plant beds and also lots and lots of pretty flowers. Now, I know what you're saying. Final render, you handsome stallion. Flowers have no place inside Fallout 4, everything is dead. Guys, 200 years after the war, things would have grown back by that point. Scientists even say so. And but the nice thing about this mod is that it's got lots of nice decorations other than flowers, so that we can get this place looking really, really good indeed. And not only that, but since the entire point of Covenant is that it's full of colour and everything is in good condition, I think the idea of having the garden up here looks absolutely superb. And since we still got the tree poking out through the centre, which was originally part of Covenant, it really works well with the aesthetic to make a really nice, tranquil place. And this is all just doing regular old mods, nothing too fancy going on here. Just really nice placement of objects to make it look really, really nice indeed. And here we are with all of the shrubberies and all the trees and all the flowers in place. We've got the hedges going around the entire place along with the very tall shrubberies on the corners. And of course all of the flowers. This place is an absolute paradise in the Commonwealth. And now it's time to actually decorate some of the insides of the buildings we have made. For small diner, I'm just going to use a lot of the kind of diner aesthetics that are already in the game. Looks pretty good, got a little jukebox, got a little kitchen in there, as well as a little pie machine. The place looks good, it looks very relaxing, so you can come up here and have some food. Because the problem with Covenant is that whilst it does have facilities to sell things, and it also has the ability to grow things, it doesn't actually have a way to cook them yourself, so to speak. So I've added that in, and here we are, starting to deck out the little greenhouse that we have built. The greenhouse was a nice idea, I thought, and we were able to get lots of the nice little aesthetics in there to make it look really pretty, including the Christmas mod, which I actually am still using despite that it's not Christmas, because it's got some really nice curtains in there. And we've got lots of little workbenches in here to really make it look like a nice little greenhouse to work in. And also, using the kind of prefab barns, I was able to build a little workshop towards the back of the settlement. I like the idea of having the workshop because all the gardeners will need their tools. Not only that, but it's a good place to kind of store all of the metal, so that if people come to the Covenant Gardens, they won't be able to see all of the clutter and the metal and tools, etc. Using the Crafting Fury, we've got some pretty darn cool attire to decorate the place with as well. And now it is time to decorate the inside of the player home. I'm going to use some of these abstract paintings to give it a bit of life, and using alternate settlements we're able to put some carpets down, because whilst I said I like the wood aesthetic, for the floor I thought to make it look like a really nice player home, let's go ahead and throw some carpet on there. And using Creative Clutter, we've got some pretty cool decorations to fill this place with, including this really cool kind of ship-themed bed, which has definitely got a lot of aesthetics from Far Harbour in there, as well as some fully stocked fridges and some nice shelving to just kind of very quickly fill the place with items rather than manually placing individual items. It's a very good way to very quickly decorate your settlement and make it look really, really good with these kind of 3D meshes kind of all assembled together already. And we're also, for the downstairs, we've got some cool flags, and we are going to have a little television area to go ahead and sit down at the end of a day after a long day of gardening with some really cool things such as this barrel, which is now a table, and we are going to have a little TV here, a little table. A nice thing about this as well is that little design for the table, I pretty much build that myself every time using OCDecorator, but here it's actually pre-assembled, so, you know, great minds, what can I say? Yeah, we are going to have a little dining area here as well, and here we are with the player home fully done. It looks very nice indeed. We still got an awful lot of open space down here, but we have maximised everything with lots of storage and lots of shelving in there, and it really does have a very nice player home feel to it. So you've been working in the gardens all day, you've been selling all the flowers and all the veg to all the people around the Commonwealth. It's time to relax in a very nice player home on top of this decking area. And now, yes people, I have heard your cries and your cries of torment. It is time to use the Transfer Settlement mod. Now I'm going to be honest people, this is a mod which transfers settlements to different save games. However, I wasn't too enthusiastic about this because there's already been something for about a year which already does this called the Cell Ripper. But now I've used it, I can definitely see why it's very, very good indeed. It actually allows you to transfer settlements to different saves in-game. Not only that, which is very useful for me, it actually gives you a list of all of the mods used in the settlement. Because the problem with Cell Ripper is that if you were missing just one mod, it wouldn't work properly. But now you can download this perfectly fine on PC. And here we go, with Covenant fully done. This lovely top garden area is absolutely superb. I'm definitely very proud of this one. It's got such beautiful aesthetics up here, which not only works really well with the idea of Fallout 4 in the Commonwealth, being that all the plants would slowly start to grow back eventually, and that would actually be a huge commodity inside the Commonwealth, but it works really well with the idea of Covenant as well, where everything is perfectly restored and everything is nice and happy. Maybe a little too happy if I'm honest, but I think it works really well indeed. So guys, thank you very much for watching this episode of Fallout 4 Building with Mods. It's been a very long time, I'm sure. You can check some of the links in the description so that you can go ahead and download this place on PC, and you can do it pretty darn easily using this new settlement transfer mod. And I hope you really enjoy this settlement. So guys, this has been the final render, and you have been the audience. I don't know how often I'll do Fallout 4 Building with Mods, if I'm completely honest, for reasons I've already said, but I do think it was time to return to this series, since the series has been so good to me in the past, and you guys have been absolutely fantastic. Make sure you check out some of the cool Patreon people below, and I'll see you next time. This has been the final render, and you have been the audience. Until next time, farewell.